So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for register to my talk. My name is Paola Claros. I am a software engineer at TargetX. I've been working there for almost a year. TargetX is a company that helps, it's an enterprise software that challenge colleges and universities that transform the way they support their prospects, students, and alumni. That's like in the education business. And before that, I worked at Season. Season is it's a company that adds support to the restaurant, to the hospitality business. Sorry about the noise. They decided to just today do some work on the roof, so I couldn't avoid that. Season is think about like like LinkedIn, but for the hospitality business. So they provide jobs for people who work in restaurants and like people who have restaurants or cafe or bars. They basically can create stores and they can hire people through through their application. So I like to work in companies where they help minorities or unrepresented areas like restaurants and like education. So I love my work. From my experience, I was very lucky, and I'm still very lucky and blessed that I've been working with different stacks like Java, Python, Node.js, PSQL, and on the front end, React Native, and VueJS. So when I was working with React in my previous work, my manager gave me the opportunity to help and build new features in VueJS. And I was like, well, why not? Why I shouldn't do it? So I decided to do it because it's a good way to learn something new from scratch. And also it's challenging because you have to change your mindset from something that you already know and learn something completely new. And also while you're learning, you're building something new too. So that's why I decided to, after I finished working with VueJS and I switched jobs and I moved to TargetX and work back to React because I was in the middle working also with React Native. I decided to do like comparing to compare both frameworks, and this is how I got into this presentation because I want to share with you how you can build a simple application. It's not a to-do list, it's a calculator, and show you the differences and the similarities between these two frameworks. So I'm going to talk about what is Vue and what is React, just very like general. I'm not going to go deep into it because we can get lost on that. Also, I'm going to show you how you can create an application in both frameworks. Then I'm going to explain you a little bit how Vue and React, you can divide your folders and your files. Also, I'm going to explain about the syntax that both uses because one of them uses HTML template and the other one uses JSX. Then I'm going to show how a component look in both frameworks, and then I'm going to show you like the final product. So basically, what is Vue? Vue is a progressive framework that for building user interfaces and uses template syntax. And what is React? React is a JavaScript library for building also interfaces. So they both have similarities. They use a virtual DOM, and they are similarly fast. So speed is not like it's not going to be a deciding factor in choosing between of them. So let's jump straight to how you can create an application. So the documentation of Vue, they recommend you to install the Vue CLI, and then you can run it. You can run it with Vue create and the name of your application of your project. In React, it's an option to install the Create React app. That is, the documentation says it's an semi-official CLI for React. it's optional. You don't need to, because at my current work, we didn't create a React app in our application. We built it from scratch. So that's another option too. But the benefit of creating React app is that it gives you the whole package, and it builds it for you. But if you don't need to install it, you can just do npx and create a React app. What npx is gonna do is gonna download, create a React app, but it's not gonna install it in your machine. So that's how you can create on both frameworks. This is the final application, how it looks like after I worked on Vue and React for this presentation. If you see, it's almost identical. They change on the font a little bit, but this is how it looks like. At the end of the presentation, I'm also going to show you how you can interact with it with Vue and with React. So for the project structure, as you can see in VueJS, you don't see the CSS files, because the beauty about it is that you can put all your CSS into the style HTML tag in one file, and also that helps you to sometimes get lost with, oh, where's my CSS file for this one, even though you can put it in separate folders. But that's the thing that I like about Vue, because you don't have many files. You just have your your components in each file, and that would be all. So for React, this is how it looks. Obviously, I didn't delete the public file, like the logos and everything that it comes with when you do the create React app. But how you can see, I separated my two components into digit box and digit container, and each of them has a CSS. The other thing is that unless you spread components out over multiple files, like files, for example, with CSS modules, scoping CSS in React is often done via CSS in JavaScript solutions like style components or emotions, and also don't forget that you can put inline CSS styles into your component. But personally, I don't like to do it because it doesn't look good. Your code doesn't look clean. So the basic syntax for VueJS is, as I said, it's in one file. And what you do is you have let me show you. So you have the template HTML tag where all your you put there everything you want to show in the UI. Then you have your script tag, and then you have your style tag, where it's gonna be the script is gonna be all the logic and the data, and the style is gonna be the where your styles for CSS. So as you can see, if someone who has been working with pure HTML and CSS, this is something that's going to be easier to jump really fast and learn and build an application than with React. That's one of the benefits about VueJS. So for React, there's two ways how you can create a component. You can create a class component, or you can create a functional component. Basically, where if you want to use a class component, you would do it because you want to handle state in there. But if your component is not, it's a stateless, or we call it dummy component, you just create a functional component. But nowadays we have the beauty about using React hooks, where it allows us to use functional components and handle state in a functional component, and we can just ignore the class component. But in the calculator application, I decided to do the old-fashioned style, like creating in a class component. So I am going to go straight to how my digits component view. I have a typo there. It has to be digits container view file. That is going to be the whole application. the whole container of the application, where it's gonna wrap all the digits and the operators and the display too. So basically, this is, I didn't put the whole script. If I'm gonna share later with you how the whole project looks like in the slides. But as you can see, I have the child component, which is the digit box, each of the little box that the application has. Also, if you notice in here, I have a display. This is the most basic form of data binding which is a text interpolation using the mustache syntax. The mustache tag will be replaced with the value of the display property on the corresponding data object, and it will also be updated whenever the displayed property changes. So this is basically how you handle your data. And if you see in here, I have v_on column select digit, and also I have add on select digit. These two are the same. The v_on is the add is the shorthand of using the directive. Directives are very special attributes with the vfix, like vif for if statements, v_on, vbind, vmodel. So we have a lot, but the most common and most used is the v_on and the vbind. And the directive attribute values are expected to be single JavaScript expression, and its job is applying side effects to the DOM when the value of the expression changes. So this is gonna be kind of like an event for me, in my case. So whenever someone selects a digit or or an operator, it's gonna trigger an event, and it's gonna send it to the child component, which is the digit box, and the digit box is gonna tell the the digit container, hey, someone tapped on me, and this is the value that they selected, and there's gonna emit the event and send it to the parent component. You also notice that like in React, which I'm gonna show you in a couple of minutes, we have the props, which is a style box and the digit number. Basically, this is gonna be from each of the boxes and that has a calculator. Just as a note, I didn't put the whole script in the whole file into one slide because it's very long, as you can see. So the previous slide and this one, it goes into one file. So the script, the script tag which you see on the left side is where all your logic goes. If you have child components that you're gonna use it, like in my case, the digit box, I import here, and then there's like an object that you create with different options for your component. You have the components options where you're gonna need to pass it all the child components are you gonna use it in this one. Then you have your data. Basically, a component's data option must be, if you see, must be a function, so that each instance can maintain an independent copy of the return data object. Then we have the option methods, where it's gonna be all your like it says, your methods or your functions that are going to use it. In my case, the big one is on click. So whenever someone taps on one of the digits or the operators, is checking which one is being tapped, and is either going to do the calculation, is going to reset the screen, the display, or it's going to do a backspace, or it's just going to concatenate it to one digit with the other one. On the right side, we have the style tag, where, as you can see, and it's like pure all the classes that my HTML is going to have. And this is how the React digit component looks like. As you can see, I imported at the top the the child component, which is my digit box. I also need to import the React in the component because I'm using a class component. And also I am importing the CSS file for this exact component. Also, you can see in here that I'm only showing, by the way, what is going to return the JSX. I'm going to show you later all the methods and the handling state in here. So previously we had, like in Vue, in Mustache tag, we have the data binding, but in here we have this state this way. And also we have the two props, actually the three props that we are passing: the style box, which is going to be class names, the digit number, and we have the event that is going to make all the calculations and is going to pass the function to, or the method to, the child component. So the child, again, can, whenever someone presses one of the digits or the operators, the child can let them know, the parent, hey, someone tapped me, and this is the value that they selected. Do whatever you have to do with it. That is basically the main goal of the child component. That's why they call React and Vue one-way data binding. So it's just like, it's only the parent can modify the value, and the child task is only to let the parent know someone did something and this is what they do. Do whatever you have to do, parent. So basically, this is So this is like an example of how the code looks for React. This is the section. This is what it goes before the render, before here, like basically in this section. So we have the state, we initialize a state, and we have, like in Vue, we have all the methods that we're gonna use. If you see on click, and it's gonna call either calculate, backspace, or reset, or either it's gonna just concatenate each of the digits that we are selecting. So, and on the right side, we have everything that goes on the CSS file, which is exactly the same that we have in Vue, but the difference is that this one goes to a specific file. So the digit box, which is the child component, I put it so you can see side by side because it's a very small file. It's a small component. On the right side, we see that in React, I decided to do a functional component because this component doesn't handle state. It only triggers an event. You see that this is the three props that we are passing, and we're gonna use it. We are using it in the class name, and when we're gonna show the value, and also the method that is gonna trigger. On the left side, we have the Vue file. And this is how, like, it's gonna show in the UI, like the same. If you notice, this is one of the directives. This is the vbind, and I decided to put it this with the old-fashioned or the longhand. Have the vbind column class, but you can do just column class. And in here, I have the add click, which is gonna be the event that is gonna trigger, and it's gonna admit that someone click it, and it's gonna send it back to the parent component. Also, as I said, I have the name of my file, and then I have all the props that is passing through this child, which is digit number and style box. Yeah, you have you can just put it like this way if it's a require or what type of props is. So it's not gonna expect something. If you don't specify the type, it can be a number, but you're literally expecting a string, and that is gonna probably break your application. And then you have your methods, like I explained, the methods option, which is gonna be the onSelect digit, and that is gonna emit an event to the parent. It's gonna let them know, hey, someone someone touch me and just do whatever you have to do. And also, as I said, I have the style tag, HTML tag, where all the CSS styles are going to be here. In this case, I only have digit box, which is this one. So this is actually, I am going to show you how it looks like. So this is Vue. So this is my simple application. I didn't, I try to do it as simple as possible, not fancy styling. I don't like to do fancy styling. I like to focus more on the implementation. So for example, this is when I click on one, it's gonna trigger the event to the child box, and then the child box is gonna say, hey, someone clicked, and then it's gonna send back to the parent and say, oh, so the child is saying me that Paola click on the number 1. So since it's a number, it's only the value, and I'm just gonna put it in a display. But if I click on plus, I'm gonna make the operation in here. So that's how we do. And then we do -1, and then I can do go back. This is the Vue section, and I also have the React, which is exactly the same. I just do any operations in here. So I can go back, or I can clear. Let me see, where is my screen? Sorry. Okay. So what did I learn? Basically, I learned with Vue that it's an approachable framework. It's versatile. That means that it's an incrementally adoptable ecosystem that it can scale between a library and a full feature framework. It has a fast virtual DOM, and it also it requires minimal optimization efforts. And another thing is that since it's approachable, and like I said, anyone that has experience or has been working with HTML and CSS pages, they can just jump straight forward to Vue without the need to learn or learn more about how in the JSX works and everything. But I also learned, like, from working in my previous jobs and this and my current job with React, is that it is very declarative. It's also component based. It builds encapsulated components that manage their own state. And since component logic is written in JavaScript instead of templates like Vue, you can easily pass rich data through your app and keep state on the DOM. And the other thing is that React can render on the server using Node, and also can empower mobile apps using React Native, which I also work with React Native. And it's the difference between React and React Native is very you can reuse the same components. That's one of the benefits that React gives you. So basically, I will just let you know, pick your battle and just learn whatever you want to learn. And I highly recommend to play around with VueJS because it's very simple. I personally like React, but I wouldn't hesitate to go back and build more applications in my current company in VueJS. And if you have questions, you want to connect with me, this is my email, my Twitter, and also I have the application, both Vue and React, in one project. So if you want to take a look and play around with it. Okay, I don't know if you have questions, just let me know. Oh yeah, the last messages are going really fast, so let me show you. There it is. Well, depending, so Stephanie asked if someone recommend Vue or React for JS framework beginner. It depends. If you've been playing around with just building applications with pure HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, you haven't played around with any other frameworks, I will recommend starting with Vue because it's really easy. If you saw, the template section is just exactly how it looks like in an HTML, with except with some of the mustache tag and all the directives that you use. But if you're doing that, if you had that, if you play with HTML, I recommend using Vue first, and then you can play later with React. I use Vue only with someone asked, what is it? What kind of applications would you use Vue over React? From my experience that I had building this support application in my previous company, that application, it wasn't like very robust. It was very simple, lean, and that's why the leader, the lead engineer decided to use Vue, because it's easy to get it run. And the way how I saw is that if we wanted to scale it, it would be a little bit like harder than with React. But that's my personal experience with that. Another question is that which one do you think would stay for the long run? I think it's gonna be React. React is been for like, they have more, the community is bigger than Vue. So personally, that's one of the reasons that it could stay for the long run, because there are so many packages built and libraries for using in React. And like I said, the community is way bigger than Vue, but that doesn't mean that Vue can keep growing more and more and can be like React. But I would say with React. What else? Yes, I will connect with you, Namrata. Thank you. What else? Yes, I agree with that, with this scalability with React. What else? Any other questions that we have? Well, anyways, you have my mail, my contact information, and just please feel free to send me, to connect with me and send me anything you want to know, or just like from my experience, or share your experience and we can talk about. I'm more than happy to do it. Yeah, in React, you can specify also. And also well, at my current job, we use TypeScript in React, so that you need more configurations in your project, but definitely you can use it. All right.
Hi, Paola. I just wanted to let everyone know we have about 5 more minutes to wrap up. So I just want to say, get in your last question. Such a great presentation today, Paola. Definitely want to thank you for being a part of Women Who Code Connect Digital this year.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just again, send me email. I would love to help in whatever you want. I am also a mentor in one of the ladies from Tectonica, and it's really nice to be able to share what you know, because there's no way if you know something and you keep it to yourself, it's like, what's the point? You need to share. So that's why I like to do it. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that message. It says, as a designer, I'm interested in interactive elements like animations. Which one is more powerful in this aspect? I didn't play around with animations with Vue. We didn't add those things in our support application, but we, since I've been working with React for more time, React has more, from my experience, has more options to add the animations, more libraries. But as I said, I didn't implement that those things into Vue. So probably there are, but I didn't do it at that moment. I think it's Vue can be also component based, but that's one of the things that React really like says. Oh, we are component. That's one of the things that they publish and they manage, and they're very proud to say it. Okay. Oh, I would, for learning, which one would be better to learn from both? I think I would go with Vue. Yes, correct. If you feel adventurous, you can you can do React, but I would do Vue first, like play around with it. Oh, hooks. Oh yeah. Actually, in my previous job, I was working on the main application, and we didn't use React hooks. We were using just without it, with class components and functional components. But when they switched me to the React Native application, it was like pure higher components, and they introduced React hooks, and definitely it makes a difference. And now at my current job, I don't even remember how to create and how to initiate state in class components, because we are using everything is based on hooks. I can, Jasmine, if you can send me an email, I can forward you to, there's a website where they compare the speed between Vue, React, and I believe with Angular. So please email and I can send it that link. It's a third-party company that they do that comparison. Well, I said that both are faster, so that is not a very hard point to decide, oh yeah, Vue is faster, so I'm gonna go with Vue. Both are similar faster, so that is I wouldn't pick one over the other one just because one is faster. It's just both are similar, faster. The complexity of layers between those two. I would need to analyze a little bit more with that, so I can come back with you with that question. Jessica from Mexico, espero que te haya gustado. Yo soy de Bolivia. I'm from Bolivia, so I also speak Spanish too. Thank you so much for listening to me and seeing my presentation. I don't have like 100%, or I'm not like a master in Vue. I'm just like talking with that experience that I had building a very light support application. So thank you. Muchas gracias por escuchar. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. And I can connect with you anytime. Saludos a Jocelyn. Mi esposo es de Venezuela también. Thank you, everybody.